trying to open a door with...
Why are you what? Now is not the time to get...
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that. The smell is repulsive. Too late. It's impossible to... Until a pool of... The smell of Commodore Red rises from the pool.
It's okay. Happens to... The hangover is clearly making this worse for you. You could use some ammonia to clear your head. If you can handle the headache. Some officers use it to deal with cadaverine odor. I can't handle the headache.
It's more likely he can handle the smell.
That young woman, the gardener, mentioned she used salts for the smell. If she doesn't have any, there might be some in the fruit store nearby.
A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays.
She looks up from her...
Yes, what we have is there, in the medicine cabinet. Go take a look yourself.
A small cabinet on the wall is filled...
Okay, don't, overdo it or something.
You see, the packages are small, discreet, sloppily stacked, making them easier to...
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that. There he still is. The ammonia only makes it worse. The second time, not so much. When the vomiting is done, your cheeks are wet with tears.
Are you okay, officer?
The weight is reassuring, like
You're facing tough odds here. It's aggravated further by alcohol. I've seen captains puke their guts up, then drive to the station. Monday, make sure you bring a handkerchief. That's probably... You need to get your shit together. We should go talk to the locals. Find something else to do while the wind changes. Give it half an hour.
there he still is, looking right through.
Fuck, does Kuno care? Yeah, like a fucking vulture.
You were lucky you didn't die there.
Yeah, Kuno's got some advice for you. What are you? Like...
Perhaps you could compress this negative energy and turn it into some sort of a Kuno-fied non-vomiter. Don't ask questions. That's right. Turn your weaknesses into conceptual strengths. Try it again now.
Kuno does...
There he's...
I've got nothing to say.
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here. The Prit...
Funny. But my...
Evrar? And what did he tell you? That we killed him? That we took a car because we did. All of us together. I hope he told the story straight. I hope he told it well. God damn.
No. These 7 honest men have equally come forth. They told you what happened so that you don't waste any more of your time.
All 7 together. They're diluting responsibility. It's an anti-arrest tactic.
Are you deaf? There will be no singling anyone out. You can't arrest A. Hardy. Do you think you could do that? Do you think you could arrest them all?
A trick question. Don't let her lead the conversation.
That's for the courts in Les Jardins to decide. What you can do right now is go back to your station and...
No. We'll stay here and discuss what happened that night.
You don't have to keep answering his questions.
I know, Lizzie. Relax. We killed him last Sunday night. Seemed like a good way to end the week.
Known him? We don't associate with scum like that.
Yeah! Who do you think we—
Quiet. He came around about 3 weeks ago when that Pines cow first sailed into town.
By the Pines cow, you mean Joyce Messier? The representative for White Pines? The same company you are striking against?
No. I mean the Pines cow. The stupid-ass cow they sent in to fuck us over. But you know what? Why don't you ask her about the pretty boy? I'm sure she has interesting things to say when you ask her hard enough.
That's enough insinuation for today, Titus. Officer, your interview is drawing to an end. Don't waste your last questions.
We hanged him up by his neck until he got real.
Didn't they teach you anything at the cop school?
This is where an autopsy would come in handy. You have to work with what you know.
Titus, you don't have to clarify.
We overpowered him, dragged his unconscious body to the tree, put a noose around his neck.
Then we left him for seagulls, maggots, and you fucks.
Make them a bit more uncomfortable first, then see if it all adds up.
Right fucking here. The fucker pranced in here like he owns the place. Got what was coming to him.
With numbers, asshole. How do you think? You're right, Lizzie. I've done enough explaining here.
No, he hasn't. Not yet. Actually, they're admirably, surprisingly composed. Well, this one. But he's always fidgeting, so don't get your hopes up.
Like what, Copper? Why? 'Cause he was worthless mercenary scum. And he stepped out of line.
What kind of mercenary?
The kind that shows up when you start a strike. The experienced kind, too. Had Cohoy and Semenine written all over him. Ex-Oranese Special Forces.
A live grenade, right here in our bar.
This one has a special gripe with him coming here.
I can't prove it, but I know he was sent by the Wild Pines. They hire merc shit like that. Story of every strike from here to Samara.
'Cause one night, he walked straight up to the mic and said, "I'm Oranese, goddamn Special Forces."
Really?
Yeah, really. Had a gin and tonic up there, sang some
We couldn't believe it either, but he fucking did. Right there. Like some—
This is a serious violation of the karaoke code.
Wrong. He harassed women, raped one, harassed workers, threatened to kill some as a warning.
From rape to harassment to threats of violence. He regrets mentioning it.
To kill us all if we don't open the gates, if we don't let the scabs in, if we don't bend over.
Yeah, he said it was his favorite joint now. Started to come in here every night. Drinking.
He grabbed someone?
Yeah, this girl's on the mic. A beautiful girl, young. Gets into the second verse of Lover Lake. The fucker grabs her legs, starts screaming, "Show me your cunt! Why don't you show me your cunt?" Then, he gets knocked on the head with a wine bottle. Doesn't even fall down.
Aren't you fucking listening? My man is talking to you.
Yeah, me and Eugene got around. Aren't you fucking...
Seems like they don't want to talk about that rape Titus mentioned. Why not? This is a serious allegation. Make them talk about it.
No. You're not getting the name. That's a Martinez matter. And I'm not discussing...
There's nothing you can do for now. He's stonewalling you.
How many people have you sent to the Shays?
Chaise électrique is the method of capital punishment.
Or send them to Reunion to rot. For 20 years. For life.
The River Esperance Correctional Facility, a military prison run by the Coalition, dubbed Reunion by the inmates. The origin of the name is unknown.
But you see, a lawman, is something people agree upon. And here in Martinez, we agreed that this man had to die.
Nothing. Your investigation here is done. Leave Martinez, go back to...
I think we're going to stick around, thanks. Some things don't add up here, Titus. I've done this job for long enough to know that people don't just confess to first-degree murder, even if it is a group responsibility.
Good luck with that. You've heard everything a rent-a-cop is gonna hear from us, real law officials. You're lucky you didn't get a beating. Oh, so you went and talked to my mommy, and now she's...
And what's gonna happen if we don't? You're gonna go and tell on us?
Yeah, I heard him. Now, fuck do you think I'm... Let me state this very clearly, Capo. Hello, officer. I'm Titus Hardy.
But having Everard back you up like that did seem to have some effect. Hear that? Magnesium. Yes, and it's critical. Look at... You need to get so magged up. You've probably had... Yes, if you want to live, you need to evolve. You need to ascend the carbon barrier.
I've got nothing to...
Behind, you see 2, maybe 3 bushes, grown into a single thicket. Oh.
Can I help you? Another thing. Great. Yes, and the phone company is taking its sweet time sending some... Who told you that? Fine, yeah. It looked like someone had messed with the wiring. If you do find out who cut the line, though... Yes?
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? This reality. Ah.
Don't be phased, madame.
We may be here a while then.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
We're in Martinez, baby. A casual term of endearment popular among the 50-plus crowd. It's a disco hole. Aren't we?
She refers to your corresponding ages.
Martinez is a district of Revachol. You would be excused for not knowing I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before. This place used to be a province. It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. Yes. We're on an island in an ocean. The world's largest body...
Known to the early Revacholians as Les Immenses, vast, lukewarm and unknowable, flowing...
Caillou, as you already know.
It is clear this pebble is of and to humanity at large.
Revachol, the great kind.
As if it's self-explanatory, beyond patriotism.
History detective. They built this city to resolve history. The nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and Ilm in the DeLorean century. 300. They say it's where the terror, by that I mean, conflicts. We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connective tissue. It's where... Oh, we're quite a way off. About...
A collection of tall ghosts behind the water vapor.
22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom floors are Insia...
Silence. She looked the water, the light. It's as though there is no recognition, only the immensity of the sea.
We are where we are. I have no truer answer to give, unfortunately.
This is one thought you need to complete.
Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember...
This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more questions. Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Messier will be here later too, and...
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
That is understandable. But perhaps it's better not to eat all your candy at once.
Indeed. I'm always at your service. These are for the big time. The revolution. It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, I'll speak. Those would be the communists. Generally, oh, and the anarchists too.
She likes the totality of it.
Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
Yeah, it was a kerfuffle, all right.
Yes. The Insulindian deluge, they call it. Yes. An acute thiamine deficiency can be exacerbated. Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad. Yes, King Guillaume had a nose for bad PR. He ran him and tens of thousands. The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean liberals are usually middle-class people, detective, or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries, some were rich enough to stay with the constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the Ultras, or they didn't win so much as survive.
She's one of them. Of course.
To foreign intervention. The coalition. The liberals took everything that was the coalition of nations. Grad. Mesk.
There is bitterness in her voice, tempered with understanding.
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in minerals, at least not in the same... This is their zone of control.
The color of moralism is blue.
Of course. The turn of the century revolution. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla. It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat. It made people overthrow their governments. Of course not. It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution. From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize its... Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone.
Something tells you her life and yours.
A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting...
The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of the
The zone of control is the third modernity. They develop the marvels of the inter-easlary communication, telematic milieus, radiation...
51 minus 8 equals 40.
Time flies. The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, the 30s... Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community... No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative ease. Welcome to reality, baby.
For her to be where she is, Wild Pines Group must have picked the right side.
They picked the winning side. That's why they're here. Perhaps it wouldn't have turned out that way had I been... I would have sided with the cannons. If you'd seen the calibers of the things, you might have too. 10 of the 14 Indo... Good question. What would you have done differently? And I asked you. Past. So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion, a complex folding protein, unlife, with the technology 50 years ago? A poor remedy for prion disease, Kupri. Resplendent, both gone now. Those that survived mended their ways. Their
Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCM.
And what is your official position?
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old. That's my position.
Understandable. They are what anyway?
Not so fast. Who is she in all this? Ask her who she is. She owes you an answer. She won't maneuver her way.
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor, a devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra.
She raises the corner of her mouth, smirking.
An ultra-liberal. It's a type of liberal. From the revolution. It's, not the moderate kind. Haven't you heard? I am a nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. One of those who pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed. We surrender.
In her green eyes, you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride.
A devil, who being of great charm and guile, sneaketh into the homes of the godly.
That dialect is Obisunt. You recognize it, a quote.
I hope we are able to continue with. When the dust settled, the liberals were, with due respect to our. I would not have relinquished.
She realizes her.
Then for my daughters, we had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isla down rather than let them have it.
Dark orange flames reflect.
Perhaps. My intellectual vanity will be my
You're no dummy yourself.
A smart boy getting smart, yes. I suppose I...
Seditious talk, man.
Yes. Whatever else I am. I'm also a mother. A bird? A sphenicid? Some sort of krill hunter? Of course you're not, my dear. I'm just terrible at guessing games. Of course. A bird? Of course you're... Ah! Or two. A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After, les bâtiments nouveaux. This one used mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannon. Splat, splat.
You could be wrong, but from here it appears as if she's running the brush.
Wonderful. The girl in the old lady rags looks like a sullen and rebellious member of... Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture. Young people who dye their hair funny colours and wear... All right. What next?
Suddenly, you're not so sure. You're...
And what would that be? I can see that, yes. I dabble in those dark arts myself. Nothing infra about... Those days are long behind me. And even in the early 30s, I would say I was more of a new girl. The new. A cultural era. And the name of the day, it involved lots of parties. Wasn't it Guillaume Le Million who said, if you can remember...
For some reason, your mind is a veritable...
It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include a retrograde...
She conveys it in short, cold bursts, trying not to invest too deeply, in case he goes down later, souring the entire portfolio.
Well... It's either bariatric surgery or long-term alcohol use. That seems unlikely. Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else? I'm afraid I can't say any more until we've taken care of formal protocol.
feelings will guide the way.
I assure you, it is no small matter for me either. We all share the responsibility for disarming this situation. I hope you have a badge for me as soon as possible. Trust me, officer, I am fully committed to resolving this impasse. This isn't some side gig for me.
She's silent. The wind flaps the sail above her.
Officer. You know, I don't mean to sound cold, but if you want something, you have to give something.
You're doing it. Despite your own best efforts, you're still getting...
I'll be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. The Union is conducting drug trade out of the harbour. It's an open secret in Martinez. Surely it must not come as... Or you can find your badge, which honestly seems...
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Volumetric shift compressor. Bizarre scientific news from Revachol West today, where a police officer's shit has been observed at a pressure of around 495 gigadecimals. These metallic hydrogen levels of shit...
This is not going quite as I hoped it would. Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and not volunteer us to be her henchman. This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way.
He doesn't let it show, but there is a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior. Maybe this is all her plan. She might have heard about you.
No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the lynching.
You're back. It's quite straightforward. Someone...
Ingredients for what?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff. Yes, after they clear the terminal...
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say that
We're in logistics, yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union. Still...
The handoff. The motor lorries at the ramp.
Precisely. Someone needs to move the ingredients from...
How convenient.
Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still...
Her irises are light green, like the river Esperance in Bright...
I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets.
Uncovering Union secrets could all...
We did. On more than one occasion.
We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty.
Well, here's your chance, officers. How do you think they're financing this strike?
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many...
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely. Then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find one driver who will open up to you. Yes? Excellent. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. In the meantime, let me know if there's...
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is inside. As you breathe in, the odor comes over you. It's a smell of the mind telling it's a puzzle. What's hanging in front of you is a puzzle.
They do after 7 days, yes. We are deep in decomposition here.
The material appears to be ceramic. Its clean white stands in stark contrast to the delicate and fragile. They feel alien to the... These are clearly not boots. They're armor, possibly part of a larger set.
Indeed. Technically speaking, these are sabatons, not boots. Ceramic plate, zirconium dioxide, most likely. This is where the make under the heel. Fair weather model T500 VE. I'm guessing that's vitreous enamel. This is advanced piece by piece. He's been out here for 7 days. It would be odd if we should keep a lookout for these species. The armor could yield information. This is one thing he might actually know.
The sabatons dangle off the...
It is. It's expensive. We've requested similar material for our tactical units for years now. The constabularies deemed it too costly. In that time, we've lost 6 men for a full set, about 4 years of wages.
For the northwest region of Revachol, an officer's average yearly income is 5,500 real.
Not too much, yes. I have no idea what that means. Looks like he worked for a private contractor, like Evrard told us. Wealthy, with state...
A small bell-like sound fills...
It's anything but. This material is a kinetic redistributor. It spreads kinetic...
Faint, organic lines cover the plates, where they're like whirls of floorboards. The design looks organic. If trees were made of porcelain, this is what their cross-sections... The smooth, glossy surface. The whirls are in the shape of a letter and number combination. E50, 100, 1000.
Good. Can you read it to me? We have a make and a number. That's something. We can use the radio in my kinema when we're done. Either station can chase it for us.
This feels dangerous. Are you sure? The sabatons dangle off the man's decaying form. The cadaver slow. The hangman's knot is pulled tight by the weight of the corpse, but this is a steel-reinforced cargo lashing belt. Big brother of the regular cargo.
Airlifting. I thought it was used on lorries for strapping cargo to them. The local harbor uses 6 rotors to shuffle containers around. I get the sense they use whatever was on hand, without paying much attention to not incriminating themselves. Right now, everything seems to fit their confession. I was afraid it would be. Thin steel wiring, parallel strands. This makes getting him down more problematic than I had assumed. A noose is one of those things that's easier to use one way around. That ladder can't carry a grown man. I didn't see any splintering either, did you? I think they lassoed the branch, then pulled on the...
Could be. The shape of the branch supports... The cadaver hangs from an intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso. From the right shoulder, his corpse is marked by stars. Alcohol and heartbreak.
A map of the stars. I do see some similarity to astronomical charts. Great Century Messinian.
As if someone left out most of the night sky, filtering it through personal choice.
So
he wears a wide leather belt around his waist and a gun holster. He takes a thin piece of milled aluminium from his coat pocket and pulls it open. sounds like a sword being unsheathed.
A Trigger Sunshine. Mini.
Triggered is the world's leading manufacturer of intercommunication devices.
Shit, Kuno! What the f—
An instant color camera. I have only 2 ampoules, so nobody move. I don't want to waste one.
A sound, a shrill flash, followed by the breaking of a small ampoule of glass. You see streams of color.
In case we need it. Yes, it is pretty cool, isn't it?
There is only one ampoule left. Use it wisely.
It contains insight to the victim's person. This was a man of physical violence. The story he wanted his body to tell was important to him. It is his letter, to us. Now, if you could find someone to decipher it. Sure, just don't lose it.
The glassy-eyed corpse, look, his eyes are milky white and blind. These eyes used to be blue. Dark brown hair grows on his head. His face is ready to explode from the organic processes inside. The deaths of the corpse.
Who is he? He is male, for good. The victim is of Occidental descent. Light brown hair, blue eyes.
When he says the corpse looks right, the man before you is naked. His eye, these are dark brown hair grows on his head. His face is ready to explode from the organic processes inside. The death's head grin has passed. What remains is an unrecognizable mess. The corpse looks right. As you narrow your eyes, the monster before you blurs. This is a trick. You've done it before. Pink is where the blood settled in the first hours post-mortem. Only the lower extremities are pink with a dash of blue. His fatted hands, thighs.
I see it. His neck too. The lividity goes right up his chin. We have good, well-pronounced discoloration here.
The monster comes back into focus. An explosion of color, coursing with dark.
So, what do you think? Agreed, especially on the neck. The belt acted like a tourniquet, keeping the blood in his head.
You would still like the hypostasis marks in the neck to be a bit more pronounced.
Maybe it looks faint to you? It could be more pronounced, actually. Dûment noté. Yes, there's always a chance we are wrong. We should check for ligament marks on his neck to see if they're in tune with... I do. Most of them are post-mortem. Maybe even all of them. The delinquents have...
It means you fucked him up good, Kuno! Fucked him up brutal-like!
A pool of blood and feces has eaten into the frozen mud.
The victim appears to have contained no more than half a kilogram of digestion at the time of death.
The fuck he's saying?
Talking about shit.
Did we? I don't feel lucky. I agree.
His personality is no...
Totally dead. That sounds about right, yeah.
But there is no breath.
Are you sure we finished the preliminary examination of the cadaver? We might miss some of these things once he's done.
The cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt. His torso...
The steel-reinforced belt presents a unique challenge. I brought chain cutters.
He doesn't actually think the challenge is unique.
The cadaver is a good 1.2 meters up. Neither one of us can reach the belt without assistance. And even if we do, there's the question of cutting the airship strength material.
The man before.
Yes, we do.
Yeah! Bang bang time, pig! Shoot his head off!
How?
Where the buckle ties the rope to the branch. That's a good spot to aim.
It absolutely will not, officer. That's not how physics work. It will maybe...
Yeah, now we're talking. Entertain.
They'll miss! The pigs will miss, Kuno!
I'll blow his head off.
Take it!
Yeah, take the shot.
Silence. With his elbow sharp and produces a lightweight firearm. He drops a paper cartridge in the barrel, separates the scouring stick, and gives the cartridge 5 tucks, securing it in place. That's a Kiel A9090 armistice. He then steps back and assumes the fellow's desk position, taking aim. The corner of his eye twitches. His finger is on the trigger.
He's gonna fuck.
The kid's voice is drowned in a shrill blast that echoes off.
God damn it.
He feels bad about it, about his eye.
Fucking idiot!
Kuno could have hit it easy, but then Kuno's not fucking handicapped, is he? Kuno's sorry.
The lieutenant doesn't say a...
No, we are lucky. Any more mistakes could put us in an unfortunate position with the locals. I have to say, it's beginning to look unlikely we can get... It's bad as it is. Us shooting firearms like punks. Go ahead, I'm not stopping you. Just don't lose it.
They only have...
This is the sorriest pair of pigs.
Yeah, take it, you fucking banana boyka! Take it and shoot yourself in the mouth!
Cold piece of bakelite and gunmetal.
What the fuck are you waiting for, Kuno?
The buckle comes into...
Why don't you just shoot yourself in your mouth? At least you won't miss.
You'll feel the slow movement of the branch in the wind, and your shoulders.
Look, he's crying. You gonna cry now, or what? You gonna fuck me? You wanna fuck me, pig? Is that what this is about?
A plume of smoke erupts from the barrel. You missed the belt.
Oh my god!
The man before you is naked.
Yes, we do.
The man before you.
Yes, we do.
Yeah!
How?
Where the buckle ties the rope to the branch. That's a good spot to aim.
Where?
Yeah! They'll miss! The pigs will miss, Kuno!
The lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He appears too deep in concentration to even notice what you said. Silence, and produces a lightweight firearm. He drops a paper cartridge in the barrel, separates the scouring stick, and gives the cartridge 5 tucks, securing it. That's a keel. He then steps back and assumes the fellow's desk position, taking aim. The corner of his eye twitches.
He's gonna...
The deep voice is drowned in a shrill blast that echoes.
God damn it.
He feels bad.
Fucking it!
Kuno could have hit it easy.
No, any more mistakes could put us...
Kuno's...
The lieutenant.
I have to say, it's beginning to look it's bad as it is. Go ahead.
This is the sorriest pit.
Yeah, take it, you fucking banana boyka! Take it and
The cold piece.
The fuck are you waiting?
The buckle.
Why don't you just shoot yourself in your mouth?
You'll feel the slow movement of...
Look, he's crying! You gonna cry now, fucking faggoty?
The buckle explodes into tiny pieces, coming loose with your hand numb from the recoil. You look at the body slumped down, looking straight at you, helpless, trapped.
Communism.
It takes a millisecond for the association to flash within your cortex. You have no idea. Then the rigor in his muscles gives up, and he smashes sideways into the spring mud, letting out a horrid stench.
Ace is high.
The Ace is high, a custom invented by the aerostatic brigades during the revolution. The lieutenant takes a little hop to perform the customary salutation. Your palm hurts from the slap. It's...
I knew these guys were
Kuno cracks with laughter. Sounds like...
I knew they suck each other off!
We will perform a field autopsy and determine the cause of death. But before...
Slumped on the ground like that has not improved the way the corpse smells.
It looks like I feel like taking a break from the stench. I'm sorry to interrupt the jubilations here. Just a little breather before we... Yes, the 4 phases of a murder scene. 1. Investigation of... I'm satisfied with that part. The trash container, the prints. 2. Initial examination of the victim. We were exhaustive in our efforts. 3. Field autopsy. This will not be pleasant or easy, and it will have...
The fuck are they on about?
Cops are gonna cut his shit up next!
4 and final, transport of the coroner's case to the district morgue. I'll do that. God, it stinks. No, you and I are detectives. The honorary rank of detective signifies our ability to handle an honor and a burden attached to your rank. Mine is Lieutenant Detective. With shooting like that? Of course you are. Your station would not have assigned you to this case otherwise. I would suggest we interview Everhart and Joyce, the leader of the Union and the Wild Pines rep, but we've already done that, so it's up to you, Detective. Take us where we need to be.
The rotting man lies on his side with his... The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
I'm gone. Into the wild pale in the past. Way out west. I'm a joke. Look at me. There is nothing funny about jokes. I'm a killer. A motherfucker. And a kid. Go ahead, Coach. What do you mean? It's the power of your... Imagine. Go ahead. Ask me more, because you're a copperoonie. Look at all of them go. Here you go, Luke. Fuck no. You're no Rooney. No, you're not a Harry either. You're a motherfucker. That's who you are. Rooney the motherfucker. Because you have. Do I remind?
A child born with Muller's disease, harlequinism, grown up miraculously.
No, not quite. Be fair now. You sure wrinkled out of that one, copper lead. Come back later, coppo. Amuse yourself with...
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Mundi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single.
There truly is a time for everything, even for yellow gardening gloves. However, they are lacking hygienically. I suggest you get in there in limited capacity. I mean when I need you to. Until then, I should handle physical contact, and you should take notes. That's right.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with...
That's you.
The corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there.
KK57-08.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals Precinct 57. That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
And what would that make the alpha?
HDB 41 08 11 11. It's meaningful.
Good. Let's go with that.
The lieutenant is quite surprised you managed to come up with an adequate case number.
NA. Next. NA. Roughly 50.
Dry 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side. He nods.
Mondial. Subgroup Occidental. As per your...
The pudgy mess looks neither mondial nor, as you read it, you think. That leaves out dark-haired Mesk. Sal, a solid guess, Mr. Racial. Also of note, your unconscious racial profiling machine ruled out Messinian before, despite all the...
Fucky fucky!
Male.
Pigs can have sex!
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
We're still going with March 4th, 51. What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case
HDB 41 0803.1.
None. At least not after the initial examination.
A strange word. Treatment.
Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem. They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature. Somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosencrantz Row, Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach puts his hand to the chest of a small corpse, no larger than elsewhere yet. An obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette ball-like against the window. Out and so, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRI8.
We should start the post-mortem.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodin, I think. Let's see.
See, it's happening.
Babrodin, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was...
The boots are ceramic, vitreous enamel. They are fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing. The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. Tattoos. The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a map of the night sky. It reaches. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
The hair under your latex fingers feels cold to touch, wet.
Lividity is consistent with hanging, albeit faint, as noted. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thigh.
Fucking low velocity. You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation. Ligature mark. The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters. The hanged man lets out a joyous little bubble of rot from...
Always good to think ahead. Now... we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully. With that...
See? My pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck. Would it be a good idea to cut the knot instead of the belt? Seems the more conservative. The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there. Steady now. Like a flower arranger. 2 cuts and it should come loose. After some deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from chest is intact, normal contour, abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia...
Now! Let's get out and see!
I fucking knew it!
This is clearly what they've been waiting for, ever since the autopsy began. The lieutenant is trying to make it as...
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
The dead man's penis is average-sized, congested from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of...
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
We have a real museum here. Last item, hands.
His flesh is cold.
Pleased to meet you. Where are you from? And I'm only fucking with you. I know where you're from. From Cappadocia. And your name is Il Kobo. What can I do for you? Nothing gives as nothing does. We should do this more often. Be close like this.
Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling. I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, the stench... Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next? Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old...
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable. Respiratory system. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen.
From here, it looks as though the clown-faced man is screaming. The tendons of his jaw are torn apart. No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's hard. Once more, you taste stomach acid in the back of your throat. Inside, you see darkness. There are ancient mysteries down there, Kobo. Ask me later.
Hemorrhaging present in mucus. Hepatobiliary, NA. Are you a hepatobiliary expert? Same for toxicology and serology, NA. Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there? Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood gastrointestinal.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila. What's next on the list? Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. And your opinion, officer? Agreed. Next injury? So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury. A stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed.
At maximum velocity.
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath.
Right. Next. A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait.
That's it. We have established cause of death. It's not much, and it leaves much to be questioned. But let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over. Well, we established probable cause of death. Then, given the state of decay here, we were thorough with the list of injuries too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg for processing.
He's thinking, did I miss something? You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse. I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something.
Shoot, loony rooney. Oh yes, Kobo me Lobo, in the gift horse's mouth. Just a small gulp away. My beloved Kobo. Come back later, Kobo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If possible, also, see me in your dreams.
You run your hands over the victim's cold body, his limbs, his torso with its swollen organs. Maybe you should be more. His fingernails have turned dark. They're chipped and quite low.
Do you think we missed something?
You can't shake the feeling that there are more secrets concealed in the flesh before you.
Okay, well, we are in livor mortis here. He is disintegrating. We need to refrigerate the body if we want to conduct another examination, and we need to do it fast. If you want for this task to slowly become impossible, it would have to be industrial in size.
Fuck are you looking at, Beano man? You want a piece of the Kuno?
Only if all else fails.
Kuno looks like he gets around. Knows Martinez. Or, remember the buttons on that intercom over there? On the side of the building next to the whirling? One was for Revachol Ice City. Perhaps it's a clue.
Hurry. This is one task we cannot sideline. With every hour, whatever we are looking for will become harder to find.
you ask the Kunmeister, Kuno knows all kinds of shit. Kuno gets around. Bacon Man's in a rush. But what's in it for the Kuno? What's the return on Kuno's investment? Kuno's got everything.
He doesn't know what that means. Talking about civics and...
You can't buy Kuno, pig. Kuno's already got everything.
Kuno's
Don't believe him, Kuno. He just wants to use your fridge.
Kuno's a poor kid from a poor neighborhood. Say your job is on the line. He'll sympathize.
The fuck are you doing right now? The fuck is...
Don't pay attention to him. Just keep telling your sad story.
It's...
Kuno's never seen anything so lame. Listen, pig. If you were Kuno, the fuck would you care? But you see, Kuno wants for it to decompose.
Don't fuck off and ask.
Why don't we go pester some other kids now?
That's actually not such a bad idea. Kids do see stuff.
Kuno doesn't...
Kuno, the pig's getting pretty close to me. Come to... Kuno, looks like it's time for me to go, Kuno. I'm going away for a long, long time, Kuno.
What's going on there? Fuck are you trying to pull, pig?
I come from the woods, good Davidu. You don't want to go there with me. You
don't be traumatizing here. Get...
An old call box with silence. No one answers the doorbell.
Stuck in the rain in a traffic jam, man. Ah, man. But those days are behind me. There are other addictions. Not me, man.
We have a credible lead, sir. Someone on this run.
Look, man, I try to stay...
I've got nothing.
Yes, yes. For the dead.
Correct him.
Well, I have a fridge, and you're not putting it here. Because this is a culinary establishment, not a morgue.
It would only be for...
Lieutenant, you too? You're asking too? No. The answer is no. I will not...
Let's go talk to the frit clerk.
Right behind you. You're joking, right? Okay. It wouldn't even fit, you know.
Now that I'm looking at it, maybe a glass-doored fridge in a public grocery store isn't the best option for storing a corpse.
Okay.
A fridge? You mean like the ice bear fridge? Man, that...
Ice bear fridge?
Yes, like a bear, but white. There's a fridge below the building in the basement, with red glowing eyes. I went back there. Mum doesn't want me to go there anymore. Not that I want to. It was pretty... Yes! She can be pretty strict. You're right about that. I don't really know what to say. You could try sneaking in. I'm sorry, sir. Anyway.
The girl keeps her hand.
What do you mean, sir?
She knows where this is going. She looks around anxiously. The lieutenant stands by, looking a facade of true professionalism. He is far more intrigued by the situation than his poise reveals. She brings out her reddened hands, her nails frayed.
And you knew this from me keeping my hands folded? Well, that proves nothing. Anyone could do an easy deduction like that.
She nods, half provocative, half enthusiastic.
Maybe so, sir. Okay, I know it's a bad habit, and I shouldn't. It was okay, sir.
There's more that can be achieved here. Ask.
You're quite sober.
The lieutenant does not flinch.
Because you usually aren't. I sure...
There she stands, swaying on her feet. There's something you're missing.
Esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People. A fridge? No, I don't know anything about a fridge. Aren't you interested in...
For whatever reason, she's lying to you about the fridge. Seems like...
God.
A part of hers too, clearly.
She can, if she has enough willpower. This is what's called growing pains.
Come on, ma'am. It's obvious she can't do anything about it. You are placing an unnecessary burden on a young child.
She stands. She's looking for one. But the...
Oh no. Hold on. I need to invite her there. I don't know what to say to you. My husband, he tries to teach me business lessons.
It sounds like both the husband and the mother treat her the way she treats Annette.
Oh, well...
My husband is completely different.
Yes, My husband is a successful entrepreneur east of the river. It's a proper place to live. One of the most peaceful neighbourhoods east of Jamrock. Most of the buildings are empty at the moment. It's a great... He made the initial investment. Since...
Super silent. Almost...
Yes, I'm afraid so. A real treat she is. It would be nice if she had...
A glimmer of sadness blinks through the...
Exactly. She's been too busy. I assure you, I of all people understand the importance of education.
And hell-free woman looks aloof. A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you. A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of Seminese trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked. A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered.
You're not thinking of trying again, are you? What is this place? Yes, but no, I doubt the electricity still works. Good thing we have a flashlight on us. Don't forget to take it out of your bag before we move on.
Some specks of dust shimmer in a faint beam of daylight falling from the window. Other than that, the room is dark. An eerie feeling rises in your chest.
Yes, because it's closed. No need to look for supernatural explanations where a banal one will do. Now let's move on, shall we?
A barbell lies on it's 60 kilograms. Your triceps hum at the sight of these weights. Show the world there are no collars on the barbell. Why does it feel so familiar?
You're right. The weight may fall off. Better not touch it then. It would be a violation of EPIS safety reg.
No, it's not that. It's the stale smell of rubber. The squid's just a memory from another life. When you were young and fit.
It's dark. And the flashlight works a lot better if you hold it in your hand. Right. Now let's get to it.
This appears to be some kind of machine with a cube-shaped heart and a wired framework. The keyboard has a rectangular on-off button. A piece of paper still hangs from
the radio computer. Just sitting here without anyone inside. But we are looking for a fridge, and we are pressed for time, so...
On the other hand, it's not the time, not... This is the Ream Civic radio computer, model RC...
Maybe the body has stopped decomposing somehow. I don't know. You're in charge of this expedition, officer.
You see a terrifying ice bear with a strange compartment in its belly. The door is covered in frost and the bear's eyes are glowing. The bear looks oddly realistic. A gust of freezing cold air rushes to greet you. You hear it. The lieutenant takes a peek inside. His hand has found the holster of...
Of course, a giant ice bear-shaped fridge. Just what we were looking for. Let's see what's inside.
The shelves are empty. All you see are crumpled ice cream wrappers with the brand name, Revachol Ice City. A handwritten note has been attached to the door. The fridge is huge.
It's certainly an eccentric choice, but it is capacious and...
But the optics on this are awful, he thinks. We need to... Your visual confirms. You could fit 2 more bodies in the ice bear.
Shall we go and get the body then? I'll take the head, you take the feet. The stairs won't be easy, but we'll manage.
The body is heavier than you expected and stinkier. It takes half an hour to get it down to the basement, then 10 more minutes to stuff it into the fridge. The lieutenant takes a step back.
Beautiful. A dead body in an ice bear fridge. This is some of the best police work I've ever done. No, not really. Look at that. What have we done? We stuffed a dead body in an ice bear fridge. This story does not leave this room. As impressive as the fridge is, this is a small victory. At least we've stopped the body from decomposing further. Now you can conduct another inspection.
Inside the icy realm of the ice bear fridge, the corpse stands slumped, waiting. You pocket the note and the little fridge magnets keeping it on the door. A friendly cartoon bear smell. The paper still smells of vanilla and chocolate. Even under this stench, you can feel it.
Good question. It looks like an ice cream fridge. I know. What an unfortunate marketing choice. What is even worse, the bear is still costing them money to this day. The electricity bill must be catastrophic. On the other hand, it did help us with a certain...
Lucky us, indeed. Refrigerated meat is... A few bricks have fallen off. revealing a compartment behind the wall. It's too dark to see in.
Seems like an old bunker from the revolutionary period. Look at all those rifles. Must be an old weapons cache. There is, yes. And there also appears to be something inside the hole.
Your hand reaches deep into darkness and spiderwebs. Rummaging around, you find rusty rifles hidden away.
Are these any good?
Most of them are rusty and inoperable, like the rest. But one catches your eye. A bolt action.
That's a rare sight. Seems to no longer be functional, but still a beautiful thing in its own way. It means there are firearms, albeit inoperable, still lying around in Martinez. It's an interesting coincidence, I would say. Might come in useful in the future.
He likes this find. The note is written with a blue pencil on a piece.
Does it say anything interesting?
This is tangential at best, but the lieutenant's detective instinct is still active. Someone has scribbled, S. I can't believe the off-site copy is still here. The illiterate ginger kid keeps stealing stuff from the studio, so I had to hide it. You'll find the filament memory with the off-site copy in the frozen ice cream maker. Please take it home. ASAP. It's important. I'd do it myself if I lived in a civilized place with a freezer. Take care.
Someone who owns a radio computer? My guess is...
Which is to say, not very good.
It belongs inside a radio computer, storing its memory. It's like a tape. Really? You don't have a single guess? Oh, I'm sure that child would love to get his hands on a filament memory. Even if he doesn't know what to do with it, he'd probably try to pawn it for speed, based on our encounter. I don't know. I assume it's somewhere close to the ice bear fridge.
This orange machine is buzzing like an old... You slip your fingers under the frozen lid, but the ice... No, this is going to need something else. Some kind of super pry bar. Don't even try to open it with a regular pry bar. You're just wasting your time. If you want to try again, turning the crank feels oddly satisfying. It's all gone now. You'll never become a poet. This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has a hand-cranked ice cream. 2 cables are plugged into the breaker box. The red one leads to the ice bear fridge and the black one to the ice cream maker nearby.
thick layer of coal dust covers. Looks like this furnace has a face, and it's a face of agony.
Looks like it. Looks like an old central furnace used to heat the building. It's connected to the chimney. No one has used it in ages. No signs.
It's dark and grimy here. In the darkness you can hear chat. The echo is so prominent.
What are you doing? Wait, really? You should investigate, see if someone's upstairs.
A lush layer of coal. You feel the spirit of Ramut Karzai, ancient hero of Grad, pulsing through you. All that's left is to cover your face in war paint. 3 dangerous stripes appear.
What are you doing? Yes, it was.
A hollow ring goes through the furnace. Your toe hurts. It's dark.
What are you doing? Wait, really? You should investigate, see if someone's upstairs.
Bent metal, broken glass. You are the destroyer, the bane of inanimate matter. Kudos. This old fireplace is covered in lines drawn in blue and red marker. The mesh, the whole thing resembles Kadran mosaic tiles. Very pesantic. Radio frequencies, it seems. UKV 123.6. UK unclear. It looks like a cardiovascular system split into veins and capillaries. Very advanced. You think so? They must have had massive air width. These things don't come cheap. Someone very important, the leader of a massive on-air game built by these people, a conductor for the hundreds of story threads that pass through the game master's frequency. Whoever decides to call in to a call-in station. A list of names under the stations suggests people across 6 Isolde. There's no way a little basement studio working here could put...
My God, it's as if the less money they had, the more ambitious their project became. The schedule. I know doom when I see it. The company was running out of funding.
Nothing is... Why does art inspire you so much? Is it? Yet your eye constantly seeks. In short, art is the highest. Have you looked in the mirror lately? You have the exact features of a savage art. Of course not. It's autism, box drawing, masturbation with a rule, only the most experimental kind. Yes, you seek substance. No vapid representations and reproductions of social mores as made manifest. Exactly. It's not only your go ahead and provide savage. Your flashlight slides over an old green chalkboard covered in scribbles, sketches, and schemes. Like some of the writing has faded. These lithe, pointy-eared creatures appear to be translucent Welkins, with organs shining under their skin. Who are all those creatures? One of the Welkins, towering. It's Vara Hamira, a high Welkin, his face white and scarred like crack. The Haldor, the Tworg, the humans, and even...
An inordinate amount of time has gone into drawing these little Welkin creatures. This looks like concept art for a project. Some people really like building a world, I think, even if it's just for a game. But just look at those details.
The photo collage depicts barren, icy landscapes wrapped in entire oceans have been frozen from shore to shore. You see primitive oil rigs built into glaciers, boreal dvorg, albeit dark and cold. This vision also feels cozy. A pinned postcard reads, "The heat death scenario. A desperate..." This is a monthly calendar from the year 50. Cryptic word. It looks a bit like an academic calendar. Mini-Me stands for a mini-meeting. It's part of a bigger framework for managing work called RUN. As time goes on, the numbers in the boxes grow rarer.
Looks like they didn't make it.
A note in the bottom left, the handwriting is only partly legible. The full text reads, "Heat death of the universe." The machine lights up like some prehistoric animal stirring from its slumber, revealing fluorescent play and print. It's empty like a beehive without its brood.
This is where the memory should go.
Nothing happens. Something's missing. There's no tape in the play. Nothing happens.
Okay, what do you think is going on with that computer, chalkboard, and fireplace? No, that's not it.
Like he's ready to lay out a fine theory.
It looks like one of those popular pen and paper role-playing games. Only these people were trying to automate it, make it work on radio computers.
Utter madness, he thinks, as a compliment.
Through call-in stations, none of the players have to be physically present. Anyone in the world can participate in the game, as long as they have a two-way. Then there's the game master frequency that listens in on the smaller call-in stations. I think that was supposed to coordinate the stories.
Coordinating so many games would take...
Not to my knowledge. They make automated games in Grad, Messina.
Not in Revachol West, among...
But I don't think anyone has attempted to create... Indeed, those Welkins are a dead giveaway. Role-playing people love that stuff. The world looks like a modified version of the Wii world.
Super cool.
No idea. They stopped filling out this. Indeed, it's ambitious and untethered from reality, but... It's too late for that, I'm afraid. Okay, let's...
Tiles on the cube are like a smooth draw. The filament slides into place. On the keyboard, the play key, nothing happens. A bar of fabric right above the key. The static gets louder, slowly filling up.
Good afternoon. Fortress accident en rue de Saint-Ghislaine. Please repeat. Is this the production schedule? Yes, I am alive. I am 74 years old and my name...
She repeats passwords. Programming people are all paranoid.
I work as a repeater at the East Insulindian repeater station. As for me, well, I am sitting in my... Now please tell me the reason for your call, Fortress accident. The filament you have inserted into the reader. Yes. Is that the production schedule? Good. Please.
Password. Of course it would have a password. That's why there's a human administrator involved.
No.
A hint system is not part of the protocol for a repeater station.
Still no. I am contractually obliged to protect the privacy of the filament holder for trust act.
I'm afraid we are not doing that, unless we want to wait.
Now, can you please received? I will register this.
Don't worry. Passwords have a way of...
Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do? Fortress accident is the company on whose name the terminal you are currently using. One moment. Fortress accident SCA produces revenue.
That's not bad.
Any other questions? Good. Received.
Don't.
Fortress, thank you.
Tiles on the cube. Nothing happens. The whole thing resembles Kadran mosaic tiles. History classes, students with their textbooks open, studying the roots of... Your flashlight slides over and some of the writing has faded with the handwriting. The full text... An iron safety curtain curves before you. This is directly what an odd thing to do. Still nothing. Those curtains prove to be surprisingly...
There must be another way to wake up.
Looks like someone tried to reconceptualize their business here. Look, the skis and rotor blades both bear the same slipstream logo. That's a good question. Reality. On the cube are still smoldering. Behind the hatch sits a cube-like crisscross of filaments. The speaker comes.
Please repeat. Good. Still no. Received.
Don't.
Fortress accident. Thank you.
Tiles on the cube.
Yes?
Broke down? The back door? The wards? The door? It's all gone now. Dark psychic energy leeching onto my shop. I suppose it's all over now. I guess there's no escape. Just a door? This place is cursed, Detective. They don't call it the Doom. I hope you're happy now. Happy that you've ruined everything. Now that you've broken the door, the curse is coming to get me.
Host Almighty, she prays. Guard me and my honest business venture from the...
Of course you didn't. You're nothing but a policeman. All right. You know what? I'm willing to let you investigate the doomed commercial area. We are set on the path. There's...
Her facade has dropped.
But before we go on, tell me, did you encounter the malignant entity? Yes, the malignant entity that lives inside the chimney. It takes the shape of a woman, a witch probably. I've suspected that she knows more about the curse than she lets on ever since I first saw her. Yes, that chimney is part of the building's central furnace, and it's a some unnatural magic, I assume. You should go find the...
If you're really interested in cracking this mystery, then we should go back to the furnace. Maybe you could yell into it or something. Make some noise.
Despite his cool, the lieutenant...
Okay, but please, only if the curse. It's the curse of financial distress, of ruin.
Didn't that curtain just move?
But officer, there's something wrong with this building, I can tell you. It's not good to talk.
Wow. Void raves. You have new...
Yes, I've contacted numerous parapsychologists. And the wards help to keep the doom at bay and protect us against the darkness that lies for... Oh, this! No, there are numerous spells cast throughout the store. I had the books anointed with a different...
Desert pygmy shamans. That's...
Yes. The Simonese are very crafty, and
the woman looks...
Vigilance officer, what can this old carabiner do for you? What is this? Are you mocking us? This isn't forbidden.
Now, no need to get angry again, René. I'm sure the officer tried his best. It's not like there's a bull kiosk here in Martinez.
Trying is worth as much as is accomplished. Fine. You try to right a wrong. It's still a gram better than actual nothing.
He mumbles something to himself. It seems to be a variety of curses.
It's a Belle McGrave, 4.46 caliber.
His moves are quick and precise as he first...
This one's inoperable. The bolt spring is missing and the mechanism is jammed shut. Still a beauty. Where did you find her? I understand. Unfortunately, I don't know what else to tell you. These BMs are an antique. No one uses them anymore. The ammunition is impossible to find.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Sure, officer. What's the number? And the make of the armor, if you know it. Got it. I'll contact the ICP database immediately. Call back tomorrow. Hopefully they'll have dug up something useful by then.
The International Collaboration Police, ICP, is an inter-Isolari law enforcement.
No, and I doubt they'll get back to me before tomorrow morning. Anything else? 57's.
In the cabin.
Yes? What about me? Good. Let's change the subject. What do you want to know? What's there to say? It's just stupidity. Was there anything else you wanted to know about the case? What's there to say? The cop kind. Our precincts can't decide if Martinez is part of Jamrock or the industrial harbor. Yours or mine, as if we somehow own parts of the city. Well, sort of. It's less a matter of who gets to policeman. I think the dispatch desk just told both our stations about the hanging. There was quite the brouhaha at the 57th, I can tell you that. Time to settle it, they said. Cop off. But I assure you...
So, he volunteered to represent the 57th, but not out of competitiveness.
Martinez? Nothing. It's just a puddle at the end of some drain pipe. No one cares about this place. They care about sports. I bet you do. The 41st is known to kill people. Often.
He neither approves nor disapproves. Yet there is something more there. Something you can't put your finger on.
If you could only find your gun. Was there anything else you wanted to ask about the competition? Yes. Yes, it's a wholly pointless matter. Forget I ever mentioned it.
Because you're the best qualified? No, that doesn't seem right. If you're so well qualified... Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 57. Just a sec. Sylvie? Yes. Oh, great. What else do you need, Detective?
You hear...
Anything else I can help you with, officer? It will take...
Her voice...
Gottlieb, what you get yourself into... Didn't, but now I do. How's the drinking going? Great.
Fucking, I'm not dead. It just hurts, okay?
Look, pal, getting pumped and dumped is not a disease. You must have me confused for a close personal friend. I am not. I am a
One needs tending to right now. You hear someone whine.
Anything else I can help you with, officer? Just a moment.
10-4, come in, officer. Roger that.